Hi, everyone. It's Maddie.
And I'm Bleeves, and we're here to talk about the Chicago Bears. So everybody bear down because Maddie's probably going to get off on a rant. She's unstable sometimes when she's talking about the Bears. And as a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that she just took over the Sox on 35th Twitter account, X account, whatever you want to call it right now, because all of a sudden they're posting 2005 videos living 18 years ago in the past, just like Maddie was doing. I think it was yesterday. So are they copying you?
No, I swear it's
Okay.
not me. And they're
All
not
right.
copying me. We just share ideas.
All right. So we got big news to cover. The big news to cover is the Chicago Bears. NBC Sports Chicago had an interview with Tony Dungy to talk about the alleged quarterback controversy. And he said, there's no quarterback controversy here. And what he said specifically was, I think you go back to Justin Fields. You have to because he's your future. But to steal a line from Danny Green, my old boss, which actually was Denny Green, but nobody loses their job to injury, but sometimes you don't recover 100%. Denny would say he's not quite there yet, and he'll be back when he's totally right. But what I think it gives you is you don't have to rush Justin Fields back. If Badgett comes out and plays the way he did this past week and they win the game, yes, you want to get back to Justin Fields, but you'll let him practice, make sure everything's absolutely perfect, because if it's not, then you can go another week. Tyson comes back in, wins another one. Now you've got a tougher decision. But I would say this this is Justin Fields' team when he's healthy, but he's got to be absolutely 100%. So, Maddie, what do you think of that?
I think I said it last time on the show. I agree. I do think we go forward with Justin Fields, but I think if Tyson can pull us another win, give us another win on Sunday, it just proves that we have a really good backup. Um, but I don't know. I still think Justin has a lot to prove, but in the back of my mind, I do believe that this is still his team. So I would go forward with him.
Yeah. I think the team has rallied around Tyson Badgett, but it's still
Hmm.
Justin Fields' team. I would think that that is probably the correct move. Do we think that Tyson Badgett has it in him to do that on the second start?
I believe so. He looked really composed. And honestly, he looked pretty composed in the Vikings game when he came in too. He just made a few late game errors, I thought, especially with that last interception. But I think he had full control of the game from what I saw. And I'm excited, honestly. I'm excited to see what he has to prove.
So am I. I think the same thing. He came in, he showed what he can do, and I think we talked about it extensively the last time that he was nervous. It was his first time, and he was throwing the
Hmm.
ball up. This is the NFL, which means not for long if you don't play the game right. So
That's good. That's
I think he
good.
learned that lesson very quickly. But let's move on and let's get to these are the big ones. This is the big news here. Eddie Jackson says that he's going to have one of the best seasons ever played by a safety, and he's been on the bench since then. He's been injured. He's now being discussed in trade rumors with the Eagles' name popping up. What do you think happens with Eddie Jackson? Does he come back in? Does he contribute to what is now a shutdown, 14-point a game Bears defense the last three games? Do they bring him back in? Does he improve the team, or is it time to move on?
I was a big Eddie Jackson fan back in 2018. He was so much fun. But he's like gone. I don't even notice when he's on the field half the time anymore these past two seasons. So, in my honest opinion, I would love to move forward from him, see what we could get in return. I don't know if the Bears are going to do that because, I mean, he's been injured this season. He was injured a lot last season, too. It's worrisome. I feel like people are going to look at that and be like, can we rely on him? And he's getting older, so that doesn't help.
Well, I'm going to give you a stat here, and you can react to that. Eddie Jackson has now played 117 plays in 1 year.
That's not a lot, right?
No, that's not a lot.
Okay, I'm not like a football guru.
About
Okay,
60
I see.
plays. A team gets about 60 plays, 60 reps in a game. So
Oh my
he's
God, that's
basically
not a
played
lot at
about two
all.
games worth.
Yeah, no. See, that's what I'm
So,
saying. Like, I don't think the Bears are going to move on from him because I just don't think people are going to pick him up.
so if you could get rid of Eddie Jackson, and I think it's a $12 million contract for
Yeah, I saw that.
a fifth or a sixth round pick, would you do it?
You know what? Honestly, yes, because I believe our defense right now is on the rise and he hasn't even like played. I think we have a very good defensive end now, defensive situation. Why not see what we can pick up?
I would agree. I don't think that, I think, everybody wants to look at Eddie Jackson and say, well, this is an elite player. We need at least a second round pick. But I think at this point, $12 million against your cap, it's time to move on. And you
Hmm.
could get somebody in the draft and they're not going to be as good as Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson's a great player, but we don't need Eddie Jackson in that starting lineup anymore. Right now, what we need is a backup who can step in and fill in for the next man up. So
I
I
agree.
would agree that the 5th or 6th round pick would be just fine for me. And that's what they're saying that we're going to get. But let's move on because this is the one that's going to make you cry a little bit. And remember, there's no crying in football. And I know they said it was baseball, but it's football. There's no crying in football. And Jalen Johnson, interceptions at the end of the game last week and
Hmm.
really established himself as a force on the Chicago Bears. And
Hmm.
he's got a contract coming up due, and he's going to want 20 to 21 million. Now, the top way, and I do have to point this out just because I can't help myself. Louisville recruit Jair Alexander has the number one cornerback contract in all of football at $21 million per year. Jalen Johnson wants that type of money. Can the Bears pay it, and is it worth it?
You know what? I'm gonna give you this because honestly, I don't know. I believe that he is like worth $21 million. But who do you replace him with? That's the biggest question I think I would have to ask then. But what do you think?
Next man up. I don't think so. I think the only positions that are worth that much is probably the quarterback, which is now
Yeah.
40 million a year. But and then the offensive line, a defensive line. Maybe a linebacker or two might command that kind of money. But as you get into the defensive backs, as you start to get into it, now here's the thing: because if you have, and what I will say is, it is entirely possible that you can build a team around Jalen Johnson because you take that
Yeah.
$21 million, you put that on the corner over there, and you've eliminated one receiver. But I don't know that he's as shut down as we saw the last couple of times. Like, we need him to be an absolute shutdown guy, and I don't think that he's that person. He's not Darrell Island of Darrell Revis. Like, he's not the guy that just takes a player out of the game.
Yeah.
So I think Devontae Adams, who was the rookie that was guarding Devontae Adams, like, he was the one that took Devontae out of the game. It was not Jalen Johnson. So I venture to say that $21 million might be spent a little bit better. I mean, let's look at this. The one that who did we not want to get rid of last year? Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith was dear to our hearts. He was the heart and soul of defense. He was the guy
Yeah.
that was there every play, healthy, unhealthy, it didn't matter. He was on that field. He was making those plays. He was making the tackles. He led the team and everything. And guess what? He left, and he got traded away. We were so sad. And what is this defense doing right now with
It's
people
okay
that
without
didn't
him.
cost as much?
Yeah.
So
I will say though, so with the 21 million, I'm not 100%. I don't fully know the contracts. Is that what he like is demanding though? Like, will he settle for less? Because I think you can build around him. Like, I want him on my team. I just don't think I would give him $21 million.
if his agent had him settle for less than what the maximum amount that he could get in a free agency in an open market, I would fire that. Look, you can like and you can love the Chicago Bears. We're fans. We want everybody to love the Chicago Bears. But you have one shot in this league to make as much money as you possibly can.
Okay.
You have your rookie contract, which you agree to, and if you get a high draft pick, you can make a pretty decent amount. But it's that free agent contract, the one that right now
Oh,
that is
okay.
going to make the difference, and
Okay.
that's the life changing money. So don't take 15 when you can get 21. That's
Okay.
$6 million more a year to go from Chicago to Dallas.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yes, I
don't know.
said
I
it,
mean,
Dallas, because the rumor just hit today that Jalen Johnson is the number one target of the Dallas Cowboys.
wow. Yeah, they're gonna pay him. I think that.
Yeah, so that leaves us with do we move on? I think we're gonna agree that we move on from Jalen Johnson, even if we don't want to. And if they decide that they're gonna keep him,
Hey,
more
at
power
least
to
he's a
it.
great player though,
Yeah.
honestly. So,
All right, so let's move on to the injury report. I'm going to pull this up. Don't cry. Uh, all these poor guys. We've got Jaquan Brisker, who is not practicing. Nate Davis still not practicing. Dan Feeney limited. Justin Fields is still not ready to go. Eddie Jackson's been limited in practice, but he's going. Roshan Johnson is full and ready to go. I think at this point he's going to be backing
Yay.
Deontay Foreman, though.
Okay.
Braxton Jones is limited, but oh my goodness, does this mean, be still my heart, that Larry Borum is not going to be playing left tackle in this upcoming week?
For your
Ooh.
sake, I really hope so. You will have a great Sunday night.
And Khalid Kareem is going to be back on the defensive line. He's in full practice on Wednesday and Thursday. Mercedes Lewis is still out. Terrell Smith is still out. And Darnell Wright is coming in limited. And that might also help the offensive line, at least to establish a little bit of depth. So,
Yep.
yeah, I feel like this team is made out of paper sometimes. But it's just it's a tough game. So, do you think
Yeah.
any of them are going to have a big effect?
I mean, honestly, no. Like you said, next man up.
Yeah.
I'm big into that too. Like, let's just play.
I think Larry Borum is a detriment to the team overall.
Okay.
Not that he's not a great player, but I think that he's been a detriment to the team starting at left tackle. And I think it's time to get Braxton Jones, a natural left tackle, back in the game. And I think they become better because of it. I think he's a
that'll be
much
good.
better player. So hopefully that's going to happen. And then Darnell Wright, I think I hope
Yeah,
he's
that'd be
going to be
great.
fine, because that's going to be a big one too. And then to close this out, this is the magic. This is where the magic happens, Maddie. This is where you have to tell me what is going to happen, because I don't know.
Okay, let me
The
just
Chargers. The Chargers are 8.5-point favorites. So
How do you even have a favorite when both of them have only won 2 games? Come on, man.
because the Chargers have the more all-star Los Angeles-based team,
That's
Bears
got
have
them.
not performed for the season so far. They're starting a backup. If you're an NFL odds maker, then you are playing odds. And the odds are that after you've had a good start from a backup, that backup tends to get quote unquote figured out. And then you can adapt your defense around what his strengths were in that first game. And you're able to make that, you make the adjustments. And I don't think that they're allotting for the fact that Tyson Bagent is a really good player. I don't think that they're allowing for that. So I think the odds makers might be wrong, but you tell me, you're on the clock, Maddie. What's the final score going to be and what's going to happen?
I believe that Tyson Chicken Nugget is going to go off, and I really think he's going to have a point. Chargers aren't great defensively with the quarterback game. They cover the run game really well, I saw. But I think Tyson's really going to prove a point. I hope I'm right. And I think he's going to lead us to a victory of 24-17. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great game. And I think he is, honestly, his name is on the map now. And I think he's going to live up to it. So,
all right. I am going to say that you are 100% correct, except I think that you're going to see a little more of the same that we saw last week. You're going to see Deontay Foreman just absolutely annihilating people. And I think that the offensive line really enjoyed run blocking, and they found out that they really were pretty decent at run blocking. So I think we're going to see a nice dose of Deontay Foreman. I think we're going to see Roshan Johnson being mixed in. And I think that we're going to see a much better or a continuing to improve running game against a very tough run defense. And I think 24-17 probably sounds about right. Like I would go with that one too.
Okay, I'm excited.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the wrap up so that we can be right and we can just tell everybody
I
and
know.
just dog walk the entire thing that, yeah, we picked it again.
We can predict the future,
All right.
Listen to
Yeah,
us.
and exactly right. And Tyson Chicken Nuggets, you are welcome on this show at any
Can they answer
time.
me? Come on, man.
We should reach out to him. He was on.
Yeah, we should.
He was on a podcast the other day. I did see up somewhere on a podcast that I'd never even seen before.
Wow, that's cool. Maybe I'll reach out.
Yeah, so let's get him on the show and let's find out. And I'll be the one to ask the crazy questions, and you can just be like, are you seeing anybody or whatever it is that you're going to ask him.
I'll just ask him for a brand deal with chicken nuggets. Come on.
There you go, Tyson Chicken Nuggets. How are you messing this up? Tyson Foods. How are you screwing this up? Bear
Seriously, how
down.
are they messing this up?
Right. How are you screwing this completely up? All right. So that's the wrap right now. 24-17. You got from both of us. I think that we're going to go with that, and that's all we got for right now. So, anything you want to say?
Bear down.
Bear down, Chicago Bears, and we will talk to you again very soon.